Hi ladies, it's Gretchen here. I am explaining a little bit of how this sidewalk wrap will work and what you'll be getting to give to your students and how to explain it. To start off with, this is how things are coming together. This is how all of these squares, each individual square that the students will receive, will come together. This is an example for Hevelin's. This will actually be green. My printer wasn't working, my color printer. So, but other than that, this is pretty accurate. Each of these squares will represent a student's coloring it in with color. And so then you take that down to this. You will receive pages that are in fourths. So these will be cut into, you'll get a bunch of pages like this that reflect your school's quote, and they will be cut up into the fourths, okay? So each student then will just get one of these, and this is about how big that would turn out to be for them to color. As far as color goes, we want to stay away from brown, black, and dark blue. Anything that would compete with these dark areas. But other than that, we want it to be fun, we want it to be colorful, and you know, the students can add pattern in. You want to discourage students from drawing like something, you know, we're not using this open space to draw like SpongeBob or a sunset per se. We're more thinking about it in terms of filling it up with some type of pattern or design. But other than that, they should have freedom to be able to fill it in, unless you want to create a guiding lesson to them somehow. If you want to make it more focused in on certain things, you could focus on primary colors with the grade level. You could focus on cool and warm colors with the grade level. You can approach that in any way that you choose to. I think I'm going to be a little more open-ended with the colors and basically focus on designs. I think what I'm going to do is maybe give my K through 1 a choice from maybe 4 to 6 easy type of patterns to draw, and maybe show them on the board, and then they can choose which one they would want to do within their space. And then as long as they fill in the white space completely, I'm going to call it good for the K1. As for 2 through 5, the designs could be a little more complicated. You could even at 5th grade level talk about sort of like Zentangles, but we're just not using the black that's commonly in the Zentangles. But as far as designs, sometimes those are more like complicated designs. So that would be fine as long as it doesn't take up too much time, because I know we only have a short amount of time to offer to the kids to fill this in. So you don't want to give 5th graders something so complicated that they're going to want to take like a whole class period or a week or two to do, because at this point we're just wanting this to be like a 15-20 minute fun, colorful activity. And let me check my list here and make sure. They should not be adding any type of text or words into their spaces. They're not drawing something per se. No black, dark blue, or brown. And whatever you choose to have the kids color with, if it's crayon, oil pastels, or marker, just make sure if they're using markers, they have nice markers to use. If they're using oil pastels, those pretty much color brightly, but just as long as they're coloring in fully in the white spaces. And as for crayons, make sure they're pressing at a pretty good heavy pressure so that you get nice bright colors and it doesn't look too dull, and we don't have to make too many corrections. When they turn them into you, just double check, especially kindergarten, if they've left open any white windows, so to speak, showing through, have them go back in and color that. Each design does have this Viking symbol, so we want to let the kids know not to color inside of that Viking symbol. So students who get these squares will need to know not to color into that, just like we're not going to color over the black of the text if it falls in a space. So We can talk a little bit more about that if we need to, but we're trying to leave the Viking symbol like it is and basically fill up any white space around it. And I could see that if I don't explain that to some students with these squares, then they might get a little mixed up. So I'll probably have to have a special conversation to the students that get these squares. As far as how many squares are on each one, it won't match up exactly with how many students you have. So it's up to you how, if you want to take all your squares, they'll all be marked somehow with a number or a way for us to identify them so that we can put them all back together. And it's really important that when we get them back from you guys, that we have at least one of each number back. You can copy more so that you could have a choice. Say you want to have, a couple classes do the same portion and then choose what are the favorite ones out of there. That's fine to do if you want to make multiple copies of the same square and pass it out to multiple children. But when we get them back, we need to have a representation of every square here. So you'll need to be very organized about how you receive them back, making sure they're complete, and just as long as we have a representation for each and every square that your mural was divided up into, then we'll be good. I'm just going to go with however many are here, and I'm going to go with however many classes that can cover, and I'm going to call it good. I'm not particularly trying to include every single class of my entire school at this point in my year, but it's up to you guys. It could be done in other ways if you make multiple copies. So if you have questions about that, you can ask Jessica or I. Hopefully this filled in some gray areas that were unknown before and gives you an idea what we're going to be doing. They should be in your hands pretty soon, so that if you've reserved 20 minutes from your class time, even leading up to the end of the year, then that should work perfect. If you don't have any class time left and you would like me to make a video so that this can go out to classroom teachers and get something back from them, please let me know if you want help with that. And hopefully I've covered everything for now. We'll get more to you as we get closer to getting these into your hands here. Okay? Have a great week.